So yesterday I saw Supergirl and critics be damned, this movie is fucking fire. I loved it from start to finish. There was honestly not a dull point in this film, though I still do think Superman is just a little bit better because I walked out of that theater smiling and filled with hope, but Supergirl is still a really good movie nonetheless, and honestly I think this film does some things better than Superman, and obviously I'm going to be getting into them. But before I do want to give a big spoiler warning. This video will include spoilers, so if you haven't seen Supergirl yet, then click off this video and go watch the movie and then come back, because I'm going to be getting into some really big spoilers. You're still here? Alright, let's do this. So the first thing I really liked about the film, and honestly I think this was its strongest point, is how we got to see Kara's backstory, and in doing so we got to see more of Krypton and like what really happened to it. And I like how they show in the movie that Krypton didn't just explode right out of nowhere, but it was slowly dying, and then Kara's dad was able to save like not even like a fraction of it, but just like a small teeny tiny little part of the planet, like just enough to where they would be well off. But then it turns out that the force field hit some kryptonite mines, and then all the people on Krypton got kryptonite poisoning and they started to die, which honestly made for a much tragic ending because Kara knows what life, or at least a small little bit of it, was like on Krypton. She got to live with her parents, she got to experience Kryptonian life, and all of that was slowly stripped away from her because of the kryptonite poisoning. And it makes it a lot more tragic and emotional. Like, this film definitely has a lot more emotional weight to it, which is something that I fucking loved about it, and it's something that it did more than Superman. And this backstory obviously provides the explanation as to why Kara spends her days on planets with red suns getting drunk and trying to drown her sorrows in alcohol. It's a much more emotional film. It has more emotional weight to it, which again is something that I think it did much better than Superman. But something that this film did just as good as Superman are the fight scenes. They are really good and honestly really fucking cool. I honestly don't know which my favorite fight scene is, because it's either the one in the middle of the movie where Kara's like fighting off all those brigands with Lobo, or at the end of the movie where Kara's fighting off all those brigands with Lobo, except this time she has the Supergirl outfit on. Honestly, probably the final fight scene, because that's when Kara puts belt to ass and beats the shit out of Krem and literally gives him the Hulk treatment. Like, god damn, she was just flying at supersonic speed and fucking slamming him into the ground, and it was so satisfying because I hated Krem throughout the movie, which is obviously the point. He's literally written to be hated, but it was just so satisfying just watching Kara beat the shit out of him and eventually kill him, which thank god they decided to kill him off, because with the whole plot line of the girl Ruthie, I think that's how you say your name, I'm sorry if I butchered that, wanting to kill him throughout the entirety of the film, but Kara repeatedly telling her, like, you know, killing him won't take the pain away, it'll just further the cycle of hatred, etc. In fact, during that one scene where Kara is like begging Ruthie to not kill him, she starts off by saying, if you kill him, and I was like, I swear to god, if she is about to say you'll be just as bad as him, I am leaving this theater, because I fucking hate that trope. I hate that so much in films where it's like, oh, if you kill him, you'll be just as bad as him. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Because Krem was literally sex trafficking girls. I'm pretty sure killing him would not only do the galaxy a favor, but it definitely would not make Ruthie as bad as him. Like, I'm pretty sure after Krem, she would have just stopped killing altogether because she only wanted to kill him. But anyway, I understand what the film was going for, and honestly, I liked it. And I'm so fucking glad that Kara was the one that killed him. You know, I was so worried that she was gonna let him live, but thankfully she was able to get her get back, not just for Ruthie, but also for Krypto, and it was very satisfying to watch. But speaking of Ruthie, honestly, she was kind of the only part of this film that I didn't really like. Not to say that I didn't like her character or anything, but she was honestly just kind of there, you know? She doesn't really do anything actually meaningful in the movie. She's really more just a plot device, if anything. Like, the only two actually impactful things that she does in the film are save Kara from the green sun by putting her in that cave and break Lobo out of prison. And that's it. Like, if you took Ruthie out of the movie, it would honestly play out almost the exact same. Because remember, Kara had her own reasons for going after Krem because he poisoned Krypto. The only reason she teamed up with Ruthie is because they had a common enemy. In fact, at the start of the film, when Ruthia was telling her about how much she wants revenge, Kara practically told her to fuck off. But then Krypto gets poisoned and Kara learns that she has to go after Krem to get the antidote, and then she was like, alright Ruthia, I'll help you. I just kind of wish Ruthia was much more of a character, or at least impacted the plot in a much more meaningful way. And that's honestly like the only thing I didn't really like about the film, but everything else I really enjoyed, like David Cornsweet's cameos as Superman. They were really fucking cool, and I like how they actually like served a purpose in the story, at least in like a small way, with Kara connecting with Superman because, you know, he's literally the only family she has left. And it was cool that at the end of the film, she goes to Superman's apartment and basically tells him that she's gonna be on Earth for a while and she's gonna be Supergirl and help out Earth in the same way that Superman does. Which is not only really cool because Kara has now embraced Supergirl, but I think they're also setting that up for Man of Tomorrow, which I think comes out sometime next year, I don't remember. But Kara being on Earth means that she's probably going to play some sort of role in Man of Tomorrow, which is a film that I am very excited for because I loved Superman, I loved Supergirl, so I'm very excited to see what James Gunn is cooking up for that movie. But anyway, one last thing I wanted to touch on was Lobo. I fucking loved him. I don't know why, I just love chaotic characters. I don't know what it is about them, but they're just so likable to me. And Lobo was no exception. He was an absolute joy to watch on screen, and he was pretty funny too. Like the way he fought with his motorcycle, using like the hook with the chain on it to like capture the bad guys and kill them. It was, oh my god, it was so much fun to watch him fight. As well as Supergirl, she really kicked ass throughout the film. The fights in general, like I said earlier, were really fun and cool to watch. And the whole movie in general was just very enjoyable from start to finish. So overall, I give Supergirl a 7.5 out of 10. It was definitely worth the hype, and I cannot wait for Man of Tomorrow. And that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.